Okay, I have some follow-up questions from a previous episode.
Ooh.
I think it's the one where we were talking about the soul versus the higher self.
Yeah.
So these were written in to us by a follower. Uh, okay, there's a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to dice them up. So the first one is, what is like the game? I would say maybe the end game for the soul.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Bubble, 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 bubble. End game for the soul. Well, they're like the end game is the reunification with source. That's the end game, end game. Beyond that, um, they don't like the term end game. Because they're just kind of like, really, the soul is just, it continues to seek experiences. And it's here working with the human in co-creation for that, because the human still has free will. So like the soul doesn't get bent out of shape or frustrated or any of those human things. The soul's just sort of along for the ride. If things get too off track, a collective decision might be made to, like, we don't want to say end the game, but almost like allow this particular adventure to end in whatever means necessary to end that adventure, whether it's, moving or changing jobs or getting divorced or even things more dramatic. And you can figure out how dramatic is more dramatic. There can be just completing this experience. Here's what they're trying to show, is they're showing, like, if we look at a game like Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers can go on forever. The game doesn't end when the lives that you have in that particular setting die. Essentially, the game's just paused until you start it back up. So like, that is essentially the soul's experience. You may come in here with so many quote unquote lives, but when you burn through those lives in this go around, the game just starts over.
Right, like in this incarnation, you're Luigi, and the next incarnation, you're Mario, and then you're Princess, and then you're Toad, and all of that.
Yeah,
And
but
every time you play the game, it's different. Even though
yeah,
you're playing through the same worlds and trying to achieve the same thing, it's like it's still a little bit different each time.
yeah. And they're like, the soul may have different goals. Like the soul may have a goal to be rich, to have a family, to be kinder, to donate all of their time and energy to a particular cause. But that doesn't, the achievement or non-achievement of any of those things does not cause an end game scenario.
Right, right,
It just means then it's like it gets to check the box and it goes on to the next experience.
right. So is there a possibility that the soul can miss the plot to get back to source? Like never get back there, I guess.
They're just like, that assumes that time ever ends,
Right.
that it's not running on an infinite loop.
Well, can
Because,
you get back to source and then like go back in again?
ooh, that's a really good question. Like when you get back to source, you just become a part of source. And you become a part of source. They're almost showing me the analogy of the quilt that we've used before, but this quilt seems to be three-dimensional and alive, so it's not really a quilt. I don't really know what they're trying to show me. But it's almost like if the soul makes it back to source, the soul can hang out there for a while And like it's almost like making it to the spa where you're like, oh my God, I'm just gonna book myself all the experiences. I'm just gonna hang out in this spa for 24 hours or however long it is. But the soul ultimately, like it wants to experience. So even if it makes it back to source, like you guys have kind of talked about this before, how everything is always evolving. So it like it might make it to source and there might be a brief experience at the spa, but source is also evolving. So it's not as dramatic as falling from source, but it's like all of a sudden the soul and source are no longer in alignment because source is also evolved. And so then the soul's like, all right, I guess we're going back and it's time to evolve again because source just evolved. Like, it's like these things that are sort of like evolving around each other or spinning around each other. And there's brief moments where they can kind of click in, recharge, reconnect, like get the satisfaction of having, you know, having had that end game experience, and then source just continues to evolve, and then that connection, like broken is too harsh of a word, the connection relaxes and dissolves a bit, but in a healthy, happy way, and then soul just can continue.
I think, oh, that's crazy. Okay, well,
It is, yeah.
So
How
now
will we
this-
ever know if this is true?
I have no idea. Okay, but like, okay, so just because a human being dies, and there's lots of these NDE, near-death experience books and things, and people reporting that they were technically dead at the hospital, but they were floating over the surgery next door in the next room over, and they could tell you everything that happened in the surgery, and then they came back into their body. So it's like, I mean, I fully believe the soul goes on, like maybe the consciousness, if you want to call it that. But what, like, so just because a human being dies and the soul or the consciousness moves on from that body doesn't mean they go, well, okay, so then if you've ever read Many Lives, Many Masters or Life Between Lives, you'll these are such good books, so I definitely recommend them. But Many Lives, Many Masters is it's about one person, and she's being regressed by a hypnotherapist, and he doesn't believe in any of this shit, and she starts like speaking with a different cadence in her voice, and he realizes she's like between lifetimes and she's talking from between lifetimes, and so he records it all, puts it into a book, whatever. Now he's famous. Goes on Oprah. And so, so she's talking from like this experience of the life between lives, which is not necessarily the same as being unified with source, or is it?
It's not the same. Like it is literally the space in between. This doesn't answer your question, but they want to draw this distinction. Sometimes it's really hard to grasp this line of conversation because we so closely align with the human body. And it's really hard to think of this fleshy thing as not being who we are. So there's like, for the sake of this conversation, consciousness is the true you that is trying to express through this human vessel. Think of the vessel as the car. So your consciousness gets in the car, gets in the body, and is now making its way through the world in this body, no different than when your body gets in a car. The car is not you, the car is still the car. This human vessel is not you, it is just what is moving you around. So when the body dies, the you that is your consciousness doesn't die. Think of it as now just sort of being untethered to a 3D object, the body. So it's free to wander, but it can't actually have the experience of being a part of this earth without a vessel to inhabit. So then the soul goes to wherever it goes. This is not part of the Q&A. And waits for like the next vessel to inhabit. You're muted, I think.
My ice machine is running, so I was muted.
Oh.
Okay, so then okay, I would like for them to tell us like a name that people are using for this life between lives or this world between lives or whatever. If it's not source, it's not physical incarnation, what is it?
Like, how much time do you have? There's so many different names, but one of the names that gets thrown about a lot is heaven or hell.
Okay,
That,
purgatory.
yeah, that there's this idea that a soul goes somewhere and maybe stays there forever. But there's like let's just forget that the soul goes anywhere forever and stays in that one place forever. But heaven is a place that sometimes people will say that this is where they think the souls go without even realizing what they're saying. Some people, not in religious worlds, but in more of a spiritual context, talk about how the soul goes to like a planet for recovery. So like you'll often hear people talk about like that, you go to, oh my God, what is that one? A world.
Andromeda?
Close, the other one. With the blue.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Not the Pleiades.
Oh my God, why can't
Arcturus.
Arcturus, there we go. A lot of people talk about that as being the sort of like spa-like experience, the healing experience that the soul looks to have. Like the word that would probably be most accurate, but also probably not comforting, is suspension.
Awesome. Yeah, that
Like
makes sense.
Yeah, it just goes into a suspended state because it's not attached to anything earthly.
Right.
So they're like, we use the word suspended because like it just is, it's just existing. But within that suspended state is where healing occurs, integration occurs, contemplation occurs, and the soul decides what it wants its next experience to be. Kind of comes up with that checklist that we've talked about. Like, oh, well, the past, 7 lives were amazing and I had these experiences and now I want to have like these other types of experiences.
Well, and right. And so what I'm kind of feeling is like the religions, and I think in some religions and to some extent some of the spiritual community, it's like this idea that you have to achieve this thing of going back to source. And in reality, you could probably just get done with a lifetime and be like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, you don't have to achieve X, Y, and Z. At the soul level, you're choosing to have these experiences before you like stop and give up or quit or whatever, versus the idea that there's like this.
Ooh, maybe that's what heaven is for the ones that are just like, I don't want to come back.
Yeah, well, I think, from a religious, like having grown up Catholic, heaven is the place where you reunite with God. So like now it's still described as this weird place where you walk around like a human being with clouds around you or some shit, I don't know. But like to me, still when it's described, like at first when you said that, I was like, no, that's not what they think. They think it's reunification with God, but actually they don't. Like it's like you're in heaven and God is still out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's true. Right.
It's like, yeah, it's still not the unification because they don't believe that's a thing even at all. But it is like, you're right. Like the way it's like the end state is heaven, and like you get to be with God, but you're not part of source ever.
Right.
It's not, oh my God, it's like so deep.
They were showing before you. Yes, I like all the stuff you said. They don't have any like revisions to what you just said, but they were showing me how like this whole idea of like the soul goes and let's just say it has a spa day and then it decides, okay, next I want to accomplish X, Y, and Z or have the experience of X, Y, and Z. Well, I was like, in my head, I'm like, that's cool, but like, how do they just make that happen? And then they showed almost like a cue of, all right, so we've got an opening for like this type of potential experience. It's like, you could, so there's a potential that you might actually get to be princess because you would be born into a family that's currently ruling this particular land, but there's also a potential for war. So you might also be like a prisoner of war, or you might also get decapitated, or you might also become poor. Like we're not really sure how it's all going to go, but like who wants to go? And some soul would be like, I'm in.
Well, that's because I was just thinking about the cards, and it's like that is, I mean, what we always say about the cards is you choose your card, which is you choose your hand, and that doesn't dictate like to the specificity of what you're saying, like being a princess, but like Oprah has the Jack of Clubs, and that's about drawing down like kind of spiritual information, could be, and communicating it out, which is the club. And I mean, like she's doing that, and then her sheets get changed every day because she's so rich. But it's like you could be a Jack of Clubs, and like I know another Jack of Clubs that's a teacher. So it's like, and I'm sure the kids love her. She teaches high school students. I'm sure that they adore her, and I'm sure she's like, she teaches inner city, and so I'm sure she like makes them feel seen. You know what I mean? Like she's doing it on a different level, or not even a different level, just in a different way.
Yeah,
So it's like that. It's like your lessons, your gifts, I think, is
right.
what the cards show you, helping you understand what your soul was like, its aim.
Well, I have a question for you based on this whole line of discussion. I feel like they were giving me all this stuff within the analogy of like the game that they started off with. But is it that a soul has to wait to come in and have an experience based on the availability, or does the soul have the ability to truly co-create the type of experience that it wants to have, because this is all a simulation of sorts? Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, okay, I don't know if this is going to answer that question, but they got stuck already. Well, they didn't get stuck. They continued, but they also stopped me on the word wait because they're like, wait indicates time. And
True.
we'll try to explain to you about time, but fuck it, we're not doing that in this episode. It's like, I don't get it. I still don't get it. They've explained it 100 million times. It's very confusing. Time is a flat circle, yada, yada, yada. So well, it's funny that when you were talking earlier about princess, like it's funny you said that because they're like, yeah, like you guys think it's the future and there aren't princesses where there'd be war and you'd be decapitated. But because time is not what we think it is, or it doesn't really exist, you could pass away in this lifetime and then go and be a medieval princess in the next lifetime.
Oh, right. I forget the whole time
So
thing.
like they're
Right.
just like try not to think about it. It's too hard. Oh my God. And with that, I've totally forgotten what you were asking.
Well, are souls stepping into pre-configured opportunities, or are our souls co-creators in those opportunities?
Both. And they like the analogy of the video games because you can choose all these different games. And they're reminding me of something I used to think about when I was a kid, but that you can choose all these different games, but there's still only these games that you can choose from.
I just realized that in my question was the concept of time. So this is why my question doesn't make sense.
Well, it does. It's not wrong. It's like, because, okay, they're reminding me of what I used to think. And I don't know how old I was when I decided that this was a thing, but I used to be like, look, it's like you go to McDonald's. You get to pick whatever you want off of that menu, but you're not getting a taco. You're at McDonald's. So like there's like a limit, there is a limitation in a way because like there's like the infinite idea of infinite experiences. and like it's really hard for us to wrap our minds around it, but even just on planet Earth, there are limited experiences. Do you remember one time we were doing Reiki and I was laying down and like astral traveled to like a planet that looked like Picasso had designed it?
Uh-huh. I do remember this.
They're like,
Yes.
you can't have a Picasso 2D experience on Earth.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're basically showing how like it's infinite theoretically, but it's not because Earth is, I mean, and we're talking about Earth, but there's other like incarnations that you can go other places to, but that's like a whole other problem to get into. But they're like, it's still limited. There's still only these video games that have been created.
Yeah. When you said all that, what I heard also in my head was there's an edge to the infinite.
Yes, like it doesn't make
And it
sense
doesn't,
because it's
but
not
it
how we
doesn't,
describe it, but
right. It doesn't mean that it's a hard stop though. Like that edge can continue to move and evolve, but like the mix, the recipe has to be right for the edges to be moved. It's like
well,
you
yes, because
expand out, you expand out, you expand out, and then you hit the point where now all of a sudden available there's this magic availability of concepts that didn't quite exist before when the edge was created. So it's like the edge is always kind of moving, but it's not anything and everything. Well, it's only anything and everything that you can possibly imagine, but the limits to our imagination don't stop because we're always like interacting and interfacing, and there's always a potential for a new concoction. I got
yeah,
too many analogies going
I
here.
know it's like so. So they're reminding me of that conversation we had about the yugas a few episodes ago, where somebody, maybe it was on the Telepathy Tapes podcast, was talking about how one of the future yugas is for us to all be telepathic, basically. But it's like thousands of years from now. So they're like, okay, so right now on Earth, there are people who are telepathic. This is something that's growing. We are creating a course to train you how to use your like intuition more, called whisper training. And so like it's starting to grow, but you're not living on a planet where everybody's telepathic.
Right.
So like it's like that's what when you were saying like the edge, that is an edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an example of an edge. We're not
Mm-hmm.
living on a planet that's at peace.
Yeah.
Someday we will.
Right.
So it's like all the experiences exist, but all of the like concoctions haven't come together to allow for all of the experiences to exist.
Right. Yes. What they're like, I don't know if this will make it easier or worse, but better or worse, but like most people agree that the universe is continuously expanding. Stars are always being born and dying, and it's changing, and black holes are emerging, and like things are happening. That's it. That's all you need to think about. Same things happening. It's
Right.
always morphing and emerging and growing, and parts are dying off while new parts are being born. It's the same thing. That is the concoction.
Yes. And like what when you're back to that question, like do you co-create or is it like already a set role? It's like, yeah, both, because you get onto a video game and you're like, I want to choose this game. I want to kill zombies. Or do you get on a video game and be like, I want Mario Kart and I'm going to run around and drive around? And it's like the most stressful game, supposedly. They've tested them all. Mario Kart's like the most stressful game to play.
That's amazing.
So it's like you're choosing like, do I want like bright, fun worlds made out of candy to drive around on a cart? Or do I want to shoot zombies
Yeah.
over here? And so then you choose from there and then the experience unrolls. So that's the co-creation they're saying. It's still like of all the options, this is the choice. And they're just like, it's like, they're just like the logistics of it happens in a split second. It's like you almost are aware of all the possibilities when you're on the other side. And so the minute you're like, I intend to have to be rich, like this is, and then it folds down and here's some remainders. And then it's like, I want to have like this type of family because there's all these videos on TikTok and everything of parents talking about their kids being like, I looked through a window and I saw you, and like I pointed to you and I was like, I picked you to be my mom. Like there's all these little kids. Oh, I got the chills saying that. So it's like there's that layer too of like, oh, and then you have to pick the family you're going to be born into for those experiences. And if you just think about your own life and how multi-layered it is, and kind of like what you said, if you're like, I'm going to be a princess, but I could be beheaded, it's like you're picking all of those layers of possibilities with that one particular lifetime too.
Right.
Interesting. Oh my God. Does anybody's brain hurt?
Yeah, it's an accordion and a drop down. Like everything's just a drop down menu that never stops.
Yeah. That wraps this episode of One Card Shy. Did you love it? Leave us a review, share it with your friends, and sign up for our monthly crown straightener. Bonus, you'll get our free Claim Your Crown guide when you subscribe.
And be sure to find us on Instagram and check out our website. Both are rainworld.co. All the links are below. See you next time, Queens.